What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. We have a great show for you here today. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to unwrap here. We're gonna be breaking down our reaction to the David the Monster Benavidez and David Morrell. And how did you see that fight? And we're also going to be breaking down Clarissa Shields' accomplishment for female boxing. We're also going to be talking about Naoya Inoue. A lot of you had a lot to say about Naoya Inoue's announcement, what Top Rank got for him in the future. A lot of you guys hit me up in the inbox, so we're definitely going to touch up on that. You know, here at Round One Sports Talk, we talk about all top stories and we bounce around. So if you hear me talking about your favorite fighter or something interesting, watch the video in its entirety because I probably go back to that topic, right? So without further ado, do me a favor, give this video a like if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, and let's get this video popping. What's up, Carlos in the building? What's up, Bam Bam? Bam Bam. You know what I'm saying? Holding his Notre Dame's world title skills, showing the world he is a champion. Bam Bam, shouts out to you, calling these fights, making it real interesting and close. Lionheart, also a Notre Dame's champion. There can be more than one winner. Um, so congratulations to you guys. Carlos, how you doing in the building? So right away, I just want to touch up on the Clarissa Shields situation. I made a little video about it, and let the girl have her moment. Just, you know what I mean? Let her have her moment. Okay. Um, she completed something in women's boxing, first undisputed female champion, regardless on what you feel on competition. I'm only holding it so that we can boost up women boxing because they need to elevate women's female boxing. So I'm gonna let Clarissa Shield have her moment. The debate whether Amanda Serrano is better than her or Clarissa Shields is better than her now, this, that. Listen, fight fans, they represent the same boxing team. They represent USA. Both women. I believe both women have room and opportunity to shine. I don't think that Clarissa Shields, she should smarten up. She doesn't need to take shots at Amanda Serrano because Amanda Serrano is dominating the lower weight divisions. And the other American superstar, Clarissa Shields, is dominating the upper weight divisions. They're both actually representing the same country, bringing the belts back home. And as far as female boxing, we shouldn't divide our girls. Okay? Amanda's not on her radar. As far as accomplishments, you know, there's really not nothing to talk about for me. You know, I'm a papers guy. I go by what's on black and white, and Amanda has done her thing. You know, she is obviously the female GOAT, Amanda Serrano. There's not too many females in the sport, in the history of the sport, that's doing it quite like her. But there's room, and Clarissa Shield, you know, although cocky, arrogant, doesn't like to share the spotlight, we are more humble, and but we don't have to yell it. We don't have to sell it to you. We'll let our body of work speak for itself. So, as far as what took place with uh I find this real interesting. The two uh Davids here, right? Uh David the Monster Benavidez and David Morrell just shot one of the greatest fights of the beginning of 2025. Um, Besides Naoya Inoue, because of the fact of his performance, I believe David Morrell and David the Monster Benavidez started off 2025 with a bang. Interesting enough, after the fight, I had to go on and see where BoxRec placed these guys, where where they were at on the ranking system. So I went and I checked, right? And as of right now, they have David the Monster Benavidez, the regular WBA champion. They have David the Monster Benavidez, the WBC interim champion, right? Okay. Two, the one and only Arthur Benavidez that has all four belts at 175 pounds. So I was curious and I wanted to know, where is David Morrell ranked for the IBF, the WBA, the WBC, and the WBO? In the top 15 of all four organizations, he's not ranked. And I'm saying, okay, so if you upgrade it, you had enough time to upgrade David Benavidez to status of interim and regular champion, which that was just recently upgraded. And if you go to BoxRec, Morrell has a loss. So all the paperwork has been done. Why would they upgrade all the systems, but not to forget to put them in a ranking system? It's because the truth is the truth. Although this was a really great fight in levels of, both men's competition, David Morrell took a big leap in competition, a huge leap. And although many fight fans might think that, David the Monster Benavidez showed that he was controlling most of the action in this fight, he was landing at a high out, higher than what most people expected. And David Morrell, man, hats off to him. The man, you know, he called out one of the top fighters in the world right now. And if you want to be honest with yourself, people, this is something really curious. This is something that really sparked my curiosity, right? I had to know that, after the fight. So I went back and in comparison, and I said to myself, okay, Saul, you claim to be the best middleweight, super middleweight. Actually, Saul, who did you fight and win against? Meaning, I know he fought Floyd. I know he fought Demetrius Bivol. Those are two losses for Saul. I said Triple G. Triple G's Triple G had his time, his moments. He was pretty good. Hard hitter. People felt Canelo was bigger. So who did Canelo in that epic fight? Like, besides the losses, who did he fight? Now, I know that Canelo avoided Demetrius Andre for a very long time. Seemed like forever. As a matter of fact, Canelo Alvarez avoided Demetrius Andre to unify in middleweight. And that was like one of Saul's biggest dreams. I remember years ago, 8 years, I'm talking way back, and I saw interviews where Saul was like, my biggest dream is to be the first undisputed middleweight champion in boxing history, because there's never been in a middleweight undisputed. And then when he got the opportunity to fight Demetrius Andre for it, he said no. He avoided Demetrius Andre, I got to admit, for a very long time. It seemed like forever. Yo, I'm talking 8, 9 years, maybe 10. It was about 8, I think. Yo, Saul would not fight that guy, man. So then it became David the Monster Benavidez. Everybody soon forgot about Demetrius Andre. Why? You know why? Because David the Monster Benavidez beat him. In fact, all the fighters that Saul was supposed to be, the fighter that Saul was supposed to be, in actuality, David the Monster Benavidez is. He beat all the guys Saul didn't want to fight, including himself. Because he is himself, right? So, if you really think about it, right, I would honestly have to say David the Monster Benavidez is the best fighter in those weight divisions. Saul might be the most accomplished. They dressed him up well. They put a nice dress on him, some high heels, man. Boy, does he look pretty. To the untrained eye, you could look from the outside looking in. Wow, he's well accomplished, but well managed. Well managed. You got to admit, Saul won the fights he needed to win. Just not the guys he needed to fight. I believe David the Monster Benavidez actually has the record. He doesn't have the hardware like Saul does, but he definitely has the fighters on his resume. He's got the Caleb Plant, the Morrell. He's got them all. And when you look back at Saul's career, you got to admit, the biggest names and the biggest challenges, he lost. And you can't, like, tell me, right? Because I've been doing this boxing shit for for quite some time now. Might have not had a channel, but I've been in boxing basically all my life. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I there's just so much evidence on YouTube. Who could call me a liar? How many times did Demetrius Andre interrupt the Saul Canelo Alvarez press conference, and Saul's famous quote to him, "You just want a payday"? That was Demetrius Andre. There's years of footage of Demetrius showing up at his fights for like a decade, bro. And the way David the Monster Benavidez dismantled that man, he brutalized that man. And although Saul dropped Caleb Plant, I think David the Monster Benavidez' ass whooping was way worse. Then you saw the respect after the victory when David the Monster Benavidez was coming down the tunnel. Caleb Plant was like, "Yo, we friends now, right?" Right? Because your enemy, you know what I'm saying? You know the saying I'm trying to say. We friends if my enemy is your enemy. You know what I mean? Types, right? So, in this boxing world, we are taught, we are conditioned to pick our fighter because of the way we view sports in its entirety. Basically, the top sports in the world are played in America. So it's usually an American team playing against an American team. Dallas Cowboys playing against the 49ers, right? And we're American fans, so it's common for us to always pick players and teams. And boxing, where the American team competing against the world, it's a global sport where that you can win the belt, bring it back to your country. Italy, France, you name it. Russia, China, Japan, Mexico. Those are their countries, right? So in America, we pick our boxer just like we pick our American team. It's not our fault. That's the way we are conditioned to do. Sometimes we put our guys in arguments with our guys, talking shit competitively. You know, we want to find out who's the best fighter in the world is. And if we're on the same side of the continent, shit, that doesn't mean we can't fight, right? Okay. But sometimes strategically, we got to think about when to attack each other, when not to let the other guys watch us attack each other and then slide in and beat one of us, right? So, American support is what I'm talking about. When you saw Terrence Crawford in attendance at that Clarissa Shields fight, beautiful American support. I was like, yo, that's the champ right there. That's the undisputed two-time. I bet he had a lot of things to do. I bet you he's a real busy man. You know, and Clarissa Shields and homegirl, look, 42 years old. I'm not talking about the competition. Women boxing needs help, guys. It's not a lot of 6 foot tall, 180-pound women that can throw a jab and a left check hook like nobody's business. They're too far in between. That's why I recognize I don't gotta bash Clarissa Shields to put my girl up. Amanda Serrano is a class act. She is a class act. She represents female boxing at its highest level. I don't think there has been any female boxing that has sacrificed more for females than Amanda Serrano. Let's get that right out in the open. But I know what side and what she's doing for the sport. We don't have to go down that road. We can if you want to get nasty, but the ladies need help. They're already needing young girls to take the sport and say, hey, I want to chase Amanda. I want to chase Clarissa Shields, right? Let's not put the girls to fight against each other, arguing on social media. So everybody looking in says, wow, is this how it's going to be? So I'm just asking the ladies and the gentlemen out there, yeah, we know what time it is, right? Let her have her moment. Let her have her moment, man. Great accomplishment. 3 divisions, man. Competition aside, argument aside, let her have her moment. But the support Terrence showed for her, I didn't want to take the eyes off Clarissa. Terrence is Terrence already, but that spoke louder than words. That's what's up, Terrence Crawford, real champion, spreading who he is too. You saw Terrence Crawford in attendance at a Clarissa Shields fight. He was sitting right there. Man, I bought a ticket to see Clarissa Shields. I got yo, Terrence, what's up, baby? Like, wow, right? And that was great. That was great. Whether or not they knew it and more people showed up, but it spreads the love. The plate is big enough for all of us to eat. You know what I'm saying? Let me catch up on y'all messages. You guys see y'all typing. What's up? Thank you, Bam Bam. That's right, Carlos. Y'all feel me? You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be better. Yeah. Yeah. Secret dance move. That's what's up. Salute. So, it's just that boxing needs support right now. This is why I do part of why I do this YouTube channel right here, is to bring you back to boxing. My mission is to bring you back to boxing so that we can enjoy these fights and see the beauty in combat sports. I've always talked about this. Without boxing, some of us young men and women would probably lead down a bad road. Although the sport can be viewed as violent in nature, it's a real outlet for men and women that enjoy combat fighting. The competition of out wrestling that guy. You know, no one has 5 years taken this guy down. From the day you walk into that dojo or boxing, you're like, I'm gonna take him down, and that motivates you. There's a fire that lives inside of us, some of us as warriors, and to let that fire die out without ever knowing the what if, I've experienced that. And the fire reignited inside of me when I started viewing boxing again in the sweet science. I There's no better feeling than standing in front of another man and you and him settling your difference, you know, um, in a regulated, sanctioned environment. Gloves on, you know. Um, Although we're trying to knock each other out, we're not trying to take each other's life. But in a competitive sport, man, like boxing, it just it brings the fighter that I have inside of me and it asks questions. How did he do that? And that's why I do a lot of this. We talk about these fighters, man, like Naoya Inoue, right? You guys have been texting me like crazy on him, right? And the announcement that they made. Listen, Fight Family chat, I'm telling y'all right now, we're gonna have to meet up in Vegas. This man goes to Vegas. They're gonna know we have arrived. It's just gonna be a busload of Round One Sports Talk crazy fans, and we're just gonna be going there popping shit. Yeah, right. Yeah, because we're gonna be in the building. We're gonna be in the building. We're definitely gonna make that one. Um, and there's been a lot. There's been a lot of opponents. And I told you this is boxing, and boxing is a business disguised as a sport. There's going to be a lot of changes. I told you guys. Um, so there's a lot of different names going around right now. So I'm going to calm down on the name calling. I had a few names for you guys. I know what you guys texted me. I read you guys' text, but I'm not going to announce anything. Not going to announce anything. I think that these are a lot of early predictions. Although Top Rank and Bob Arum and them can even say it out of their mouth, their own mouth, you know, um, sometimes things change. There's too many moving parts in boxing, and I just want you to be patient with the sport sometimes. When you give one guy the opportunity to say no, you can announce the name and everything. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the guy walks off like Vasily, like Tio. Tio and Subriel Matias, we thought that was sketched in stone. We were right there. We had dates and everything. We had Subriel making videos. What happened? Where did Tio go? Tio, where's Tio? Can't. No one knows where he is. What he's doing, right? So that's what I'm just saying. I know what you guys said. I've watched it all. Trust me. I'm just not really like gonna take us down that road. You know how I am, guys. Let me get a little bit more proof. Let me get a little bit more who that name in Vegas is gonna be. So far we have already had 3 names. But as far as competition for the man Naoya Inoue, man, let me tell you something right now. Um, you know, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him. Naoya Inoue, I don't take anything away from his greatness. just like Clarissa Shields and a lot of these boxers like Terrence Crawford, you can only be held accountable for your weight division. A lot of the scrutiny nowadays seems to be coming from Naoya Inoue, from all exterior outside source, like things that really doesn't have anything to do with him. Like he can't beat Tank Davis. Like you really want to go down that argument? Like, and then my advice to you guys, don't entertain things like that. Look, they're not even in the same weight division. Like, no. It doesn't make him the best because you don't think he could beat Tank Davis. That's not even a real argument. I could say Terrence Crawford's not the best because he can't beat Usyk. That would just you're gonna just keep going down these roads. You know, here at Round One Sports Talk, we 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 hold you accountable for what's on paper, your accomplishments. It's hard enough to get, one belt in the sport of boxing, or even get another man to give you an opportunity or a shot at that belt. You know what David the Monster Benavidez did with David Morrell? That was some ballsy shit right there. Had David the Monster Benavidez been dethroned, defeated, everything, and I mean everything, goes to David Morrell, man. The momentum, the popularity, more fans, boosting his stock, that, and in his head at that point, he's the shit. That was a big opportunity. A lot of fighters won't give young, hungry, up and coming, dangerous opponents like that. They because they're not willing to lose their place in line. You have to understand that David the Monster Benavidez was the guy that was being talked immediately after Arthur Benavidez and Demetrius Bivol fight. He could have lost all that. There was so much on the table that sometimes we know about it, but we don't acknowledge it. You can know about it, but it really doesn't. He put a lot on the line here. And he had a great performance. He proved that he was definitely the better fighter. I believe that David Morrell, besides the fake knockdown, that shot he hit him with, that little slick right shot, that was one of the best punches in the fight. Throughout the course of punches of fight, David the Monster Benavidez landed significant amount of power shots. He was having his way. He was having but Morrell woke up. You saw when he woke up and he's tan. But it's he soon found out how strong the monster really is, Morrell. And he saw that. I told you guys, I spoke of this. I said, hey, just because David Morrell is up on stage calling him RoboCop and saying that he was one-dimensional didn't mean he could stop him. I got receipts. Didn't I say that? I said, just like Devin Haney, when Devin Haney said, oh, Ryan Garcia, all you are is a left check hook. In the first round, he hit him with a left check hook. What were you working on? You see, you knew all the answers to the test, but you couldn't pass the test. David Morrell was making fun of him. Oh, you like this, you like that. Yo, he did the same shit to him. Didn't mean he could stop him. Errol Spence Jr. Every fighter must have known what he was going to do coming into the fight. But could you stop him? You see, so that I talked about that. I said, yeah, he might be winning in the jokes department. He might be calling you out. But I was like, yo, that does not mean he can stop it. And I called it. He couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop it. He had his moments in the fight, Morrell. He came in this fight in shape. He came ready. He came ready. Um, I think what uh separated this fight sometimes is that David Morrell is sometimes watching David the Monster Benavidez more than initially having a plan to engage. He needed to cut angles a little bit more, and David the Monster Benavidez was very smart with that with the shot over the top, meaning that if David Morrell switched levels and he would try to come down to the body, he would tag him over the top quick. So in doing so, you had to set things up. And I called this in the fight too. I said a good way to fight, which I thought that David Morrell would do and implement on David the Monster Benavidez, because they're big guys, right? And they're both usually typically like this. David the Monster Benavidez is in the high guard, and David Morrell usually with the elbows pointed out. He's like that. I said a good peel game, like like an X, peel his hand, peel, boom, and hit. David the Monster Benavidez used that tactic on David Morrell several times in the fight. I saw that bogus ass knockdown, and I said to myself when I was watching the fight, why ain't they showing the knockdown? Show me the knockdown. Yo, they never showed you the freaking knockdown. I had to go back, wait, watch the fight again, and slow it down myself. Yo, that knockdown, I'm pretty sure the world has woke up today and reviewed the knockdown just like I have, right? That shit was bogus as hell, right? He not only did he trip him, but he blocked the shot. It hit on the outside. It basically trip, push. Yeah. So the deduction of the point for that cheap ass punch at the end was merit. It kind of set things right for what it was, because you should have never been awarded that bullshit ass knockdown in the first place. So now we were back on track in actuality, and then the fight was one of those sneaky kind of fights, right? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the first 3 rounds, I felt like David the Monster Benavidez won them, yeah, kind of, yeah, but it was a little tricky. It was a little tricky there, right? And then I think it was the 4th round, 5th round, when Dave Morrell hit him with that big shot that buckled him. That was the best punch right there from him, I think. It really boosted Morrell's confidence in the fight. You could see it. Yo, he started to come alive. He was like, and he was hitting him, right? And I was like, and they started to exchange. They had, I would say that's the best moment in the fight for David Morrell. But I think what really was gonna start to deter, was the 11th and 12th round. I really felt like whoever closed the show strong had a chance of winning the fight. Even though I felt like David the Monster Benavidez was clearly winning coming into the 11th round, 11th, 12th round. But those are the championship rounds. Those are the last, of what the judge's perspective of the fight is. And then I said to myself, if David Morrell can win the last 2 rounds, he can tighten this up. It would have been a lot tighter fight. I kind of gave David Morrell the 11th, and I clearly gave the Monster Benavidez the 12th. I believe the scorecards were, they were correct. I like the judging in the fight. Right as soon as the fight was over, I didn't even get the announcement of who had won yet, and the first thing in my head was, I would like to see that fight again. I would like to see that fight again. Let the both men go on, do their thing a little bit, 1 or 2 fights, in between, and meet up again. I would like to see that fight again. I have to admit. I said to myself, That was a pretty good fight right there. Yeah. And when the next time they meet, hopefully they're more familiar and they'll go right to each other. Like Naoya Inoue did with Donito Donaire. Their first fight was a classic fight. It was fight of the year, right? Okay. And the second time they fought each other, Naoya Inoue and Donaire weren't playing with each other. Both those men weren't in their minds. Neither of them were trying to go to the scorecard. No, they were swinging for the fences, and Donaire got caught first. That's all that happened. If Donaire would have caught him first, Naoya was going down. With those gloves, with those hair rares gloves, no, they were swinging and take each other's heads off. Yeah, neither of them could make a mistake. Naoya Inoue made a calculated move. It was uh, it was a it was a masterful move, man. The way he knocked out Nonito Donaire. You're not supposed to catch him like that. Not a 3 division Hall of Fame fighter with experience. That guy's been in every boxing situation you can think of under the sun. When he was standing there and he was in the position he was in, swinging that punch, is because he thought he was safe. He had been in those kind of situations hundreds of times, sparring, everything. He knows positioning, timing. He's a very smart fighter. For Naoya Inoue to catch him like that, he psyched him out so on a boxing level. It was crazy. If you have time, the fight is very short, very short. It's like one round in like 20 seconds or something, right? If there was 10 seconds left in the first round, the fight was over, right? But if you go watch what Naoya Inoue actually did in a fight, right? Your coach is constantly telling you, keep your hands up, protect yourself at all times. So they don't want you to ignore what the other guy is doing. And a lot of coaches repeat it, putting into their young fighter is that when you're having success, be aware of him throwing a punch back, right? So a lot of fighters know this. Sometimes in certain situations, fighters are actually thinking. And they know with a simple feint, they didn't actually extend the jab all the way out, just a feint got you to react. That split second of you reacting, then trying to come out of the guard is when I set you up to come in. And I catch you in between that window. Right? Okay. What Naoya Inoue did, he shaved the reaction time off. He's done it in multiple fights. There's off the top of the head, Jason Maloney, Payano, Donaire was the best, one of the best. Well, Jason Maloney was slick as shit, but Donaire, man, that was something else. Donaire faked him to get that reaction for Naoya Inoue to go like this. So by the time he set up to throw his punch, Donaire's punch was already coming. Donaire, it was like a chess match. They threw the jabs, they bobbed and weaved. He edged his foot closer and closer. Naoya Inoue's back got closer and closer to the ropes. Donaire had got in position where he wanted to be. He had done this hundreds of times. He knew already where your right hand was, where your left hand was going to be. He had threw the feint to get the fighter to go like this, and he was going to throw his shot. At that moment, he moved right in position. The plan was going according to plan. Naoya Inoue didn't flinch. That part never happened. He went boop, and knocked him out. Well, he didn't knock him out. He just dropped him. Boom, but it was brutal. And from there, he was on Bambi legs. And what took place was just um a crime. Naoya Inoue destroyed him. It was very, very slick when Jason Maloney threw the feint. Yo, that feint came like this. Naoya Inoue, no reaction. He just went forward. Pow. Strong. He punches strong, straight, man, with power. And he's kind of learned how to like not buy into your bluff. You know, like a bluff in poker, like that's a bluff. You didn't actually throw the punch out. And he'll take one to give one. But his technique, and I talk about his creative style of fighting. You know, how do you do that? What just happened there? And I'm like, wow, you know, boxing is a sport of, you know, seconds and timing. You could be coming out of your guard and that shot can be coming right in. He timed you just right. Being in the right positioning. And these fighters work on these techniques hours and hours and hours upon hours in the gym. And to come out and fight night and pull it off, you know, on a world stage. Not a lot of fighters can do that. So what these men and women are doing now for the sport, we're living in a real interesting era, let me tell you. Okay? We're in our boxing era right now, and they have the nerve to say that those boxing eras and times were like the shit, right? Well, I respectfully disagree, right? Whenever you seen a boxing era where we got a female champion, that a 7 division female champion, Amanda Serrano, we got another female champion that just completed 3 successful weight divisions, unifying all 4 belts. We're in an era where 3 men have unified all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, right? And that's just not even counting the remaining of our stars, the Tank Davises of the world, okay, and so forth, okay. We are living right now in one of the best boxing eras, but at the same time, it could be so much better, so much better. Imagine if the rest of these guys actually fought each other in this era. That would put the cherry on top. If Saul fought David the Monster Benavidez, if Tank fought Shakur or Loma, if the fights keep going. If Terrence Crawford unified in the 3rd weight division, the possibilities are endless here, people. We still got time. We still got time. You know, maybe Tio might fight Subriel Matias. Don't say that too loud. Don't scare him off. Don't scare him off. Please. Hard enough to get some of these guys to fight each other, but a great time, a great era for boxing, because the rest of the guys, although there's some guys in the sport, they're always going to be those ones, you know, that one team that you think should win the Super Bowl or the championship, Philly, right? They just don't win. They just don't win. And I think that the sport of boxing is in a good place. You know, we got Jerron Boots Ennis right now, you know, going to try to unify here. And from what I'm being told right now, uh well, I'm going to hold up on that one. Yeah, I had something else I wanted to tell you guys, but let me make a phone call before I say anything about this, because I was going to say something else about Jerron Boots Ennis, but I gotta confirm something. So, let me not speak too early. It's not nothing bad. It's not nothing bad. It's just little situation. But anyway, Um, what do we have now? We definitely got um we definitely got some pretty good fights coming up right now. The one mostly important to me on my radar, obviously, is the rematch between Demetrius Bivol and Arthur. That's one of the fights I really, because it's gonna really speak to where if David the Monster Benavidez is gonna have the opportunity to match the fighter that he is with some hardware. Is he gonna get his opportunities, or is he gonna run into the same brick wall at 175 that he did at 168? He never was given those opportunities. He was a champion. No, he has no one else to blame but himself for why he lost his belt in the beginning with. So he can't get my sympathy in that regard. You know, my man, that was on you. Okay. So now if he runs into 175 and these guys avoid him or whatever, is he a blackball fighter at that point in boxing? Are people really aware of what his capabilities are, or in their and are they purposely blackballing David the Monster Benavidez? Because he could have been an amazing champion down there. He cleaned out the division himself. So when I think about, could he have held them belts as a good champion? Damn right he could have. There was no way that, because of Saul. So that's what I want to see. And those are those interesting moments in a boxer's career. I also view what's going on in their career outside of the ring. And I'm like, man, this morning when I was checking everything out, right, I was actually like looking at their records, Saul's and David the Monster Benavidez's records. Shit, I could put them up on the screen if you would like. I was saying to myself, damn, bro, David the Monster Benavidez actually has the record Saul should have. Like, if you was to take the belts and just put them on David, he would be a phenomenal champion right now. He beat everybody in the division except Saul. But Saul can't say that. He can't. Gotta fucking run it back with Triple G 500 times. You're not getting credit for fighting the man 3 times. That's one name. I don't care how many times you fight him. It's still one name, Saul. And then the top guys you fought, you lost. So I want to see if this is true. He's got the interim. He's the regular for the WBA. He's the interim for the WBC. Let's see if the man gets his shot. You see, and Arthur Benavidez, Father Time, is undefeated, man. Although he's a strong puncher, the one thing about their two styles, Arthur and David the Monster Benavidez, I don't think none of them are gonna run. They're not huge mobile guys. There's both their style in that fight. I don't think we're going to the scorecard. Either way, I don't I don't see how we go to the scorecard in that fight. Their their style of fighting, both Arthurs, shall Arthur win? I'm comparing him to Arthur if he's successful, because I haven't counted Demetrius Bivol out in that fight. I think Demetrius Bivol can beat him. He can beat Arthur. Yeah. You never know. If anybody could beat him, it's Demetrius Bivol. There's no way I count Demetrius Bivol out in that fight. I think this shit might be 1-1 actually. After this, yeah, I think Demetrius Bivol knows what he did wrong in the fight, and he's gonna look to correct on it. I think Arthur is gonna be, the best version of himself, like he always is, and Arthur's just gonna be himself. I think that the real changes that are gonna be made. See, Arthur won the fight. What are you gonna change? The way that strategy, you won. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's just going to be a in shape top version of himself. Demetrius Bivol is going to make adjustments. He's got the skill to make the adjustments to beat him. Whether or not he beats him, that we'll have to wait and see. But if it was to happen to be Arthur and David fighting, we ain't going to the scorecards. There's no way. There's just no way, man. None of them dudes are mobile. They're straight to the right in. They're gonna meet each other right in the center of the ring, and it's gonna be like boom, boom. One guy will back up, and then boom, 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 boom. It's gonna be that type fight. It'll be a little bit footwork, taking breathers, your normal basic shit. And it ain't gonna be like these guys on the ball, the tip of their balls of their toes, and they're like, moving around, cutting angles. It's none of that shit. And with the power that both these guys possess, we don't go to the scorecard. There's no way. There's just no way. Now, if we were talking about David the Monster Benavidez between Demetrius Bivol, we're going to the scorecards. We are going to the scorecards. That's going to probably be a split decision. Could be a unified. Unanimous decision. It could be a unanimous decision, yeah. But I think it would be more on the line of a split decision. I think that Demetrius and David the Monster Benavidez throw good combination punches. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just going to be a matter of which guy can stand up to the other guy's power and how well he takes his punches. I think it's going to be just a battle, a real back and forth affair between them two. I think Demetrius Bivol knows how to play the outside real good. He's good everywhere. He's good mid range, out range, in close. Demetrius Bivol is a smart fighter. He has a strong defense. He's very, very boxing responsible. Demetrius Bivol, where that he throws punches and he brings them back. He's very responsible when it comes to that. He's very smart in reading fighters patterns. He reads patterns pretty good. David the Monster Benavidez is always been known as a volume puncher, throwing a lot of volume for a long time. People always looked at what he was doing up top and they never looked down. His footwork has never been top notch, the best. He's been known to throw punches and get out of positioning. You can get him to come out of positioning. Sometimes he has real awkward steps. And when a guy is straight up with you like that, it's easier for a technician type counter puncher like Demetrius Bivol to get to the target. The one thing with David the Monster Benavidez, everything might not always be what it seems. Although he's in front of you like that, he has a great waist for a big guy. He knows how to roll his shoulders pretty well. And I think that throughout his career has gotten him in on his opponents, his ability to evade and to take punches, to go in the high guard and just walk through. And then unleash his offense. David Morrell, David the Monster Benavidez is he's really good at that. So when I think about like a fight with David the Monster Benavidez and Demetrius Bivol, Demetrius Bivol is not gonna play with him. He's gonna keep him at the end of his punches. I believe he's gonna stay on the outside. He knows he has smart feet. Demetrius Bivol is more complete as a fighter than David the Monster Benavidez. I think so. Yes, he is. I'm not sure if he has pop. It's a little his career can mislead you a little. Demetrius Bivol. It doesn't seem like he's a really high power puncher, but when you look back at his career, guys can't just walk him down, and they're reluctant sometimes for coming in. So he must punch hard enough, right? Whether or not, that I would have to see. I'm not sure, out of the two men, all of a sudden we go in there and freaking David the Monster Benavidez hits him with a check hook, pow, and freaking Demetrius Bivol just starts wobbling, and we're like, oh shit, like shit, it's stuff like that's been known to happen, or Demetrius Bivol hit him, vice versa. So some of those situations I won't know about it until I actually see it, based on skill, how I see the fight playing out. Unless one guy makes a fatal mistake, too many left turns, too many times dipping the wrong way, and a guy makes a quick read. That's been known to happen in the fights. But I think that both fighters have been in the game for quite some time. These are veteran fighters right here at the top level in boxing. And I can't wait. I want to see that card kick off so that we can know more or less the trajectory of some of these fighters, as well as some of the fighters on the card, Jose Valenzuela, where if or not he'll be in still or in the new in that fight against the Russell. There are a lot of, moving parts here, as we saw Isa Pitbull Cruz wrap up his fight. That was a banger. That was a banger. That was a banger. And so Isa Pitbull Cruz is still campaigning at 140. That answered one of my questions. Where was he gonna fight in? What weight? Okay. And then that 122 guy, Cuevas or whatever, he's not on Naoya Inoue's radar or level. He needs a lot of work. Great fight, great fight between him and the other guy. Um, you know, he's learning. But I'm looking for that guy. I'm looking for that kid that comes in polished. There's a lot of polished kids that are coming into boxing nowadays. Cormil Moten, Abdullah Mason. These kids were looking really polished. I'm Xander Zion. For his weight division, for the size of that man, he might look as fast or this or that. But for those divisions, make no mistake, he was ahead of the curve. Xander Zion's ahead of the curve. Now, a lot of these other fighters are more polished, right? Keyshawn Davis, where that they have less fights, and we're already saying, put him in with the champion. I'm looking for that guy. That guy that will potentially give him another drag down, banged out fight. Like Donaire did. Like, I gotta find out that Japanese fighter's name. It was a good fight. There was a fight that Naoya Inoue fought in Japan. He fought like the next uprising. He fought a bunch of next uprising Japan superstars, which a lot of people thought that guy was going to be the next star. And Naoya Inoue ended up beating him and stuff. There was a fight out there. I just can't say his name correctly, and I gotta work on saying their name, so I'm not gonna even bother. I want to say it so bad. Want to give it a shot. Amazing fight though. Amazing fight. One of those kind of fights. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look him up. Yo, it was a great fight. And if you have a chance, I just want you to check it out. And it's one of the fights, one of the hardest fights I find about him. I don't think that Japan likes to show it or something. I don't know what the thing behind the scenes is. There could be something behind the scenes with it, right? But I was like, here, hold on. What are we gonna do here? Okay, I'm gonna put this up right here. I'm gonna share my screen. Throw this up. There's my man right there. That's him. Because I want you guys to see who I'm talking about. I don't want to mess his name up. I'd rather just point him out. Ryaguchi, Ryaguchi Takuchi. I don't know if I'm messing up this man's name, bro. That's the fight right there, though. That was an amazing fight. Let me see if I got him. Yeah, that's him right there. That's him. That was an amazing fight, man. If you have a chance, check out that fight right there. That was a good fight right there. I want a kid out there to give him the type of fight that this kid right here gave him. If you have a chance, look up that fight. That was a great one. That was one of the times where Naoya Inoue went the distance, in fact, I believe. Right? They went the distance in that fight? Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. That's why I liked it so much. Yeah, they went 10 rounds. 10 rounds. They went the distance. He was one of the only people that went the distance. No Nito Donaire went the distance with Naoya Inoue. Controversy. Yeah, I feel like he got knocked out in that fight. Anyway, he ended up going the distance. Yeah, and I believe there was one more man that went the distance early in Naoya Inoue's career, and that was it. In fact, it was two back-to-back fights. Um, the Ryo Ryo fight. I'm just gonna say Ryo. The Ryo fight and the fight before that, Naoya Inoue went back-to-back 10 rounds. And those are the two fights that went the distance and the Donito Donaire. Those are the only three fighters that have ever went the distance with him in his career. Everybody else he knocked out. And he has 29 fights. So he only went the distance three times. Everybody else he knocked out. Yeah. Yes. Naoya Inoue, man. He's the man. He's the man. He's definitely the man. Let me catch up to you guys. Man, I gotta read you guys' his messages here. Okay. Was here forever what? I Back in the days, champs took the belt from the champ. Well, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to go. Um, when you beat a champion in the ring, the belt that you beat off of him is the one you want to be photographed with, right? And when back in the days, champions beat champions, meaning we don't fight fax machines, we don't get email belts, we don't fight for vacated titles. We want to fight a real champion. Rather getting an email belt sent to you. Back in the days, they used to fight real champions. And the respect was who are the men on your resume rather than you can be like, I'm undefeated. Who the hell did you share the ring with? Who did you share your success with? And where are the names that makes you so dominant? There was an era where champions would fight champions, man, right? And when you do happen to get a champion fighting a champion, even though David Morrell's and David the Monza Benavidez fight was technically for no belts, right? It was a regular belt and an interim belt, but still titles. They're world titles. So when he beat him after he put on the belt in the ring, that belt is not his belt. He took it off, gave the belt back to David Morrell. That is the correct and the right thing to do. The WBC are now going to send you your new belt. You don't want his belt that he wore, that he was wearing in bed with his girl and shit, and taking a shit with. We don't know what these weird shit world champions do with their belts, right? And how many people photograph. Nah, that's yours. You take that. You won that. You deserve that. That's your memories. They're going to send me my belt. I'm going to make my memories with my belt. But if you happen to fall in the ring and somebody was to dethrone you, they're going to take a picture with your belt on. And when they take the picture, hopefully you were a decorated champion. The better champion you are, the better the moment. If you see that these plates are filled, they got your names in it in times where you defended or unified. Then all of a sudden, the WBA, you see the big black cats. You see how the belt changes? It'll go from like this version, and then the other version, the cat and the guy will be really big, like Tank Davis's belt. That's the super. So, and then now you got the super version, like Naoya Inoue, he has the super version, right? These are the regular versions, right? So the belt gets more tricked out. The better the champion, the better the moment. Look at the belt I took a picture with. That's the kind of champion I beat. His belt gets stronger with every victory. It gets the super for the WBO. Terrence Crawford defended the belt more than 3 times. The outline, you see where it's white, they turn it gold. And then there's more diamonds on top of diamonds. The plaques commemorate the moment where he achieved those moments. If you were to knock out Terrence Crawford with that kind of tricked out belt, guess what kind of picture you're taking? But now, at the end of the fight, you got to give that back. You got to trick out your own belt with your name on it. I don't want Terrence Crawford's name on my belt. His moments. Nah, it was cool. That's what kind of champion I beat. Cha-chan, cha-chan, cha-chan. Here you go. Give mine. Yeah. Now let's go make some memories. And let's go create history. I'm going to trick out my belt too. I want all my shit to be filled like Naoya Inoue's belts. When you see his belts, do you not recognize that his belts are slightly different than everybody else's belts? The more you win, the more things you could put on your belt. And if you know how to read belts, when you look at it, you're like, holy shit, that's a powerful belt. That's just not your ordinary championship belt. I'm looking at that mother and I'm like, shit, he's got both of them filled. He's got the gold around. He's got the extra diamonds on. That's a fucking championship belt right there. Their belts don't look like that. That's when you can send your belts in and get everything filled. And they start adding shit on. Man, listen. When you know how to read the belts, you see a real belt walk in the room, you're like, shit. You don't gotta tell me he's somebody. I could see it. It's like wearing your stripes in the military right on your belt, bro. Morrell won 5 rounds. Yep. That's pretty accurate. Rematch, definitely. I hear you, Carlos. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to hear from you. What's this? Well, and then I see where you're going with that, right? Because if he's signed to Turkey or Top Rank, it'll make the fight much more easier to get done, right? Because it'll be an in-house fight because Top Rank has Naoya Inoue. So I see where you're going with that, right? There's a lot of possibilities, and I was talking about that. I'm gonna hold up on a couple scenarios, but in fact, like the elephant in the room, guys, right? Okay, the elephant in the room. Wait, Morrell lost the fight rather than Benavidez won it. What I mean is that Morrell with right game plan wins that all day. I like Ronnie Shields, but Morrell needs to a new trainer. I am in agreement with you. I am in agreement with you, brother. I am in agreement with you. Who is that? Secret dance move? Very good observation, right? I believe that a better game plan with the skills Morrell had, he should have been be able to have a little bit more success. Um yeah, yeah, I think so too. Shit, I think that when he was coaching um a fight against Javante Davis versus the Aztec Warrior there, when he was in his corner too, I was saying to myself, yeah, he's telling them the right things to do, but with a little bit more adjustments and notifying his fighter, like, I mean, he was telling them the right things, man, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that Morale could have did better with a better game plan against David the Monster Benavidez. I'm in agreement with you on that one. I think he's a great skilled fighter. Um, there was other ways of approaching it. I don't think they prepared correctly for David the Monster Benavidez's assault, and I think that it took David Morale himself to will himself in moments in this fight. I think he was a little overwhelmed at times, and then I think he snapped out of it. He showed flares of what he possibly can be as a fighter. He did control moments in the fight. He was having success recognizing these moments and telling your fighters what to capitalize on rather than just saying, repeating back to them, you're doing good, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing is not really like on your fighter when he's in there trying to fight against, damn, that was a big shot. Shit, backing up and biting down on the mouth guard and going forward. At times, either he looked a little lost or he was trying to take a break, morale. And he was caught watching David the Monster Benavidez too many times for me. There were sequences that I felt he should have been punching with David the Monster Benavidez, and he didn't. He shelled up on on the rope sometime, and he took unnecessary punches. I felt like um, a better rollout game, a better start to the fight with his skills. The night could have played out different. But who knows? Who knows? I think that sometimes fighters outgrow coaches. And I think that sometimes, if you want to get better as a fighter, but sometimes it's good to stay with what you got. Bomac right now in Team Crawford and their whole camp, I believe this year might suffer big losses. Might. I think one of the coaches that are gonna have has a potential might be Bomac in his team. He's got a lot of big fights coming up, Keyshawn Davis, and he's got a lot of good fighters in his stable. He just came off of a loss against uh um Payano there, right? How do you say his name there? You know what I'm talking about, right? Nelson there, they just fought. So Bomac lost that fight right there so far. Uh And if this Terrence Crawford fight with Saul stands to be true, man, um, not sure Terrence Crawford can pull that off. If his biggest fight in his stable loses, and that's gonna be like a domino effect, bro. I don't know. Team Bomac's gonna have a lot to prove this year. Yeah, they are. They're in tough situations right now. That's when they're gonna start to question: is it you? Was it that you had the best fighter in the world, or was it you as a coach? That's when your coaching credentials come to. You suffer a lot of losses. That's why a lot of coaches don't like to take a lot of fighters. The more fighters you put out from your stable, the more, because like that Garcia, the reason why sometimes they overlook him for coach of the year, he has so many fighters. Win-loss ratio, he might have more losses, but big wins. He's turned some fighters into champions. He's inherited some champions. Let's see what he does with them. And in those early rounds, Moran was only throwing one shot at a time, trying to go for one punch knockout, which wasn't the way to beat Benavidez. You have to, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's about creating the angles. I see where you're going, and like, yeah, like you're right, you're right. And I talked about that. I thought that, you know, maybe a different approach, with the kind of weapons that David Morrell has. It's not like we're talking about fake scenarios here. It's not like we're giving him excuses. No, we're judging David Morrell. I'm with you on this. Based off his skill and what he's shown. With what he's shown, had he had a different approach, because let me tell you something right now. Was it me? Well, that man looked fast as fuck, boy. David Morrell. Yo, he looked fast. He threw that jab. It was like, I was like, what weight division is this? 170. Does that say 175 right there? Like, I was like, damn, that was pretty fast. If you had that on your side, that kind of weapon, you were that much faster. A different approach? Yeah, I can agree to that. He just didn't utilize them in the correct ways to beat David the Monster Benavidez. He was using them, just not in a way. He could have played the outside more, stabbed the body, switch levels, side step, sneaked the right hand in occasionally, parry the jab, slide back, right? Not too tall, bend with the knees, reposition yourself, pepper him some more, get David frustrated, get him to try to cross the front door. As you can see, David Morrell can pack a punch where he did wobble him. Stay on the outside, would have played with that speed jab he had, use it as a rangefinder. Bow! Snap David the Monster's head back. Different start, different approach. I can see it. Can you say rematch? You feel me? Can you say rematch? I would like to see it. I think that what you're saying is exactly what David Morrell is thinking right now. Man, had I did it different, had I approached it differently, had I done this, it could have been, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's what the man's thinking. And David the Monster Benavidez is thinking forward now. Listen, this is not basketball. We don't play the best out of 7. You get one night, one shot. You called me out for 2 years. I gave you your opportunity. Is it my fault you decided to fight the fight you fought? or I fought the fight I fought? Or was it the fact that I had too much coming your way that, like in your normal fights, David Morrell, you're calm. You're doing David Morrell stuff. But when David the Monster Benavidez was in front of you, didn't seem like you could keep it together for a long period of time. You had moments of success. You won your rounds. But for the majority of the fight, David the Monster Benavidez proved why he's on that level. And he deserves to be the next man in line at the winner out of Arthur and Demetrius Bivol. So I got to agree to that. I got to say, yeah, man, you're right. So before I hop off, I'm going to read the rest of y'all's thing. I'm going to drop the link. You guys that want to come up, anybody want to share anything, I'll give you y'all time. I made a safe platform. You could come up here, share your viewpoint with me, talk about it, you know. And this is not a debate channel, okay? This is an educational boxing channel. So when I drop the link or whatever, it's for educational purposes or for anyone to feel free to share what they would like to talk about or who they would like to see next or what situation they would like to discuss or talk about. Or if they see anything wrong with something I said, yeah, we can debate it. But I'm not going to attack you is what I'm saying, you know. So you could always come up, you know, and tell me what you guys think about some of these big fights and who do you want to see fight or what did I talk about that you think you would like to comment on. I agree. He was too focused on trying to go for the one punch KO rather than focus on softening up Benavidez early and going for bigger punches later in the fight. Yeah. 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 Yeah, he kind of was. Um, what can do that to a man sometimes is his power, meaning he might have had the intentions of coming out trying to jab, work his way inside. Maybe I'm gonna go back and look at it. Maybe there was a punch early that really caught David Morrell's attention. Might have made him a little gun shy, hesitant from just diving in there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why he was that fast and didn't take over with that jab. I would have kept switching levels. You know? Straight right. Switch it up. Side step. Shit. Might even switch. You know? And then switch it back and remind you about that jab. Remember him? He's still here. You know what I'm saying? And I would have tried to control. David the Monster Benavidez had 2 inches reach advantage coming into the fight. So he probably was going to jab with you. So there was a lot of things like I'm not in there getting punched in the face. You know, sometimes he's like, "Bow, ooh, that hurt. That hurt. I'm gonna chill right over here, like you know." But both men, it was a good fight, man. They had their moments, you know. When people are going to go back and look at the fight and talk about that knockdown, oh, it was a knockdown. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Look at the proof. Right? You still can't deny that punch that David Morrell landed on David the Monster Man. The world saw his knees buckle. You know, we seen the aftermath with his eye. He didn't even look the same. He made the man look Asian. When they were looking at it, he was like this. Yo, that was a big shot. So you can't say he can't punch because he obviously hurt him. But you know what saved David? When you go back and watch it, I know you're gonna see it because I saw it clear as day. When you go back and watch it, what saved David the Monster Benavidez when he hit him and he buckled him was that David the Monster Benavidez hit him with a shot of his own on the inside. Yeah, he hits him with with a right hand. He hit him, boom, and Morrell went back, and then he thought about going in. Watch when you go back and watch the fight. He when he hit him, he saw he buckled him. It was quick. They exchanged again, but David Monster Benavidez hit him with a big shot, and Morrell went boom like that. And he was gonna go in, and he kind of like went like that, and you can tell he also got hit with a big shot. And he didn't want to go in there playing around neither. So both men, you know, it was a good fight. It was a good fight, guys. It was 100% a knockdown. Nah, it wasn't. Nah, I got proof. All right, hold up. I'll play it for you. Hold on. Wait. Hold up. Uh, how could I do this? Oh yeah, I could just do this. Okay. All right. Which one was it? Okay, this is it. Now wait. Wait. Let me see it. Wait. One of these guys break it down real good. Okay, hold on. Which one was it? Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. Fuck it. I'm gonna go with this one. Hold up. First of all, let's turn down the volume all the way, and then on my screen share, I gotta screen share this one. Okay, we're gonna watch this ourselves. You know, and we're gonna ask you what you think about it. Oh, okay. I got the wrong one. I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, where the hell can I? Okay, wait. Got it. All right, let's check it out. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Oh.
The high output fight that we used to say. Output fight that we used to say.
Wait. Watch.
High output fight that we used to say.
Look. Look where his foot is at, and look where the hand hit his shoulder. It never even hits his head. The punch. It never even punches his head. Look at the foot at the bottom getting tied up. He trips him. Watch the foot. Look at the feet. Look. Let's see if we get a better angle. Look at the foot placement. Look. See, told you. Foot on the outside. Look. Foot on the outside, and look where the hand hit. Now, I understand the rules. Doesn't matter if he hits you on the shoulder and knocks you down. A knockdown is a knockdown, right? But because of the foot and the trip, that's where the knockdown can't be awarded. It doesn't matter if he doesn't punch him in the head, bro. You could punch somebody in the chest and and if he goes down, you're awarded a knockdown. It's just clear as day. But the trip, that's why I was like, nah, you can't get credit for that knockdown. You was never supposed to get awarded that. That's not a clean knockdown, my man. What's up, angry white guy? Yo, I showed you it. I showed you it. I know it's not a knockdown. There's no way. Look. How's that a knockdown? Look.
The high output fight that we used to say.
It was a push at best. He pushed him with the trip. Your foot being underneath, and then woof. Look at it. I mean, it's all there.
One thing that cannot.
Yeah, for
No, you can't get that. Nah, you can't get that. I just don't know the rules in boxing. Yes, I know the rules in boxing. I clearly know the rules in boxing. Protect yourself at all times, and a knockdown can be awarded. I'm telling you, if I punch you on your shoulder and you go down, that's a fucking knockdown, bro. If we're in a sequence and I hit you and you come and you there's been sequences where the guy was like rolling on the guy, like spinning around, and he hit him with a shot and then like pushed him down, and it was still awarded a knockdown because they saw his legs were giving out. He had Bambi legs, right? But a trip is a foul. You must not know the rules, my man. A trip is actually a foul. So if you have a foul committed on the play with the knockdown, a foul is never a punch to the shoulder. That's not a foul. If I hit you on the chin and you start running around the thing and I fucking club you on the on your thing and you go down, that's a knockdown. If you were wobbling and I hit you on your forearm, if I threw a punch and I hit you on your forearm and you happen to fall, that's a knockdown. But there's a foul committed on the play, the trip. You can't be awarded the knockdown. That's what I'm talking about. It wasn't the shot at the shoulder. It wasn't the fact that he caught him in an awkward momentum and you missed a step and you were off balance and I pushed you and you went down. Guess what? That's a knockdown. That is a legit knockdown, even if you were off balance and I pushed you. Because my fist touched your face. But the trip is what takes the foul. And I was just like, nah, you couldn't be awarded that. You can't trip me and flip me down like that. Nah, bro. Nah, there's been hundreds of knockdowns over-reviewed and been like, no, he tripped them. You can't get credit. They've always took the knockdown back in a trip. The crazy thing was that these guys were sitting there. They're pros. They got instant replay. An instant replay, guys looked at that and said, yeah, knockdown. I was taken back by it. I was like, there is no way on God's green earth that could be awarded a knockdown because of what happened with the feet. I was like, you know how many fights I've seen where a dude tripped another dude and he hit him on the way down and the referee said, no knockdown. Shit. How many times they took away knockdowns from Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fight? How many knockdowns they took? And those were better. No, he tripped them. Ryan Garcia, because he went this way. The referee deemed him, he tripped him. No knockdown awarded. So how the hell are you going to do it in one fight, but you're not going to give it to him? Get out, man. The referee just didn't see it. But what blew my mind was the officials that got cameras. I was like, you got every angle in the building. Fuck out of here. PBC, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they felt like, let's not push he already got the point deducted for punching him after the bell. So shit, it's even. There's nothing to talk about. They felt like they let it go right there. I don't know what they were thinking. Because if you wanted to start controversy right there, it probably would have fucked shit up. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because if you take the knockdown away from David Morrell, guess what? That means technically he lost the point in the round, not David the Monster Benavidez. It makes the situation worse, and it makes to beat him, the climb to the top, that much harder. The mission. Because if instant replay would have came back and said, David Morrell, we're not counting that knockdown. You know what that means, right? He still lose a point for punching him after the bell. So by fixing it, it probably would have created more, because you're saying you took the point from both fighters. You go back to instant replay. You take away David Monster Benavidez' point. He's screwed. But by leaving it the way it is, all right, let's let the fight continue. That round is just going to be a wash. No one won that round. So we got an 11-round fight now. What do you guys do in 11 rounds? Go. Rather than trying to fix it. In the moment, they probably were like, if you take that knockdown off of him, you're going to fuck this shit up. I don't know. But come on, man. It's just, I couldn't award him. He didn't. It's probably one of the most bogus knockdowns. Even if they would have gave, which they did, if I woke up the next day, David Morrell, I wouldn't brag about that. I don't want it that way. If I was a real warrior, real fighter, and I went back and I looked at that, I'll just let that shit die down. Now, don't worry. I'll do better next time. You know what I'm saying? Don't come out because you're going to have these guys like, what are you talking about? Look at this. Just let that shit go. Like, all right, they awarded you it, but you did some sucker shit at the end of the round. They took it away from you. That's what really happened. That's what's going to go down in history. That's what's going to go down on paper. That's what happened in the fight. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that, both fighters gave it their all. Definitely gave it their all. None of these fighters have anything to be ashamed of. I believe David Morrell fought a good fight. Opinion wise, we all feel that any fighter could improve or do better in their fighting style. But hats off to both men, because the most important thing that took place on this night is that these two guys dared to be great, and they put their O on the line. Somebody's O had to go. Both men agreed that boxing needs to go back to its prestigious glory days, where that you were judged for the men that you had on your record. And hats off to both men. In victory or defeat, neither of these men have nothing to hang their head down. Both of them came in, gave a good account of themselves. The fight card lived up to its, the fight card. I felt Brandon Figueroa and Stephen Kubo Fulton. Brandon was a little flat in the fight, but he still fought. And I think overall, the fight card was a success. So now where do we go from here? I want to see more of David Morrell. I believe even in a loss, your stock can go up. He's a good fighter. I say let's support him. I want to see some more of him. I like that Keyshawn Davis is going to go for the WBO championship with you know with Top Rank and Dennis Berenchek, right? But not just that, not just that fight. Keyshawn has some work to do in front of him, but he also has somebody coming up the rankings. And it's been real interesting, it's well noted that Andy Cruz beat him 4 times in the amateur. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times he put the Beats by Dre on that man. Now, although what Davis is going to say, Keyshawn Davis, he's going to say, oh, that was the amateur. I'm a different fighter. My style is based more on a pro set fighting style and, so forth. But it builds for future fights and excitement because I know that Andy Cruz beat that ass multiple times in the amateurs. So Andy Cruz is coming up. He's another, Cuban star and yeah, I want to see more of these Cuban fighters. They're good fighters. They are good fighters. And just like I like to see the Mexican fighters, I love that fight between Isa Pitbull Cruz and my man Fierro there. That was a great fight. The matchmakers got it right for them on their 2 skill levels. The way that they brought the Mexican fighting style on a full, on a world stage. It was amazing to see. It was a real back and forth affair. And there were moments I thought that Isa Pitbull Cruz was hurt in the fight, in fact, and then he hurt the guy back. I thought the guy was rallying back. It was a good fight. I liked it. So when these guys pull off those styles, and that's what I watch boxing for, to see all styles, all different fighting styles from all around the world. And I always ask myself that one question: who is the greatest fighter and where does he come from? Absolutely. Keyshawn much better now. Yeah, he is much better. And Andy Cruz and Cuban fighters, bro, still doing that amateur guard shit. I know that Bogsy Ennis is trying to get him out of it, but it's just since a kid probably they put that fighting style into Andy. You only got 3 rounds. You got to win. Forward, Andy, forward. They're listen, perfect example is actually this fight, David the Monster Benavidez versus David Morrell. From the first round, watch David the Monster Benavidez' defense. The way where he has his hands at, his elbows. Look at where he has his at. And look right across to David Morrell's style. Tell me, where's his elbows at? The entire fight. He tried. You could see it. They were teaching him to put him here. In the amateurs, you're like this. You're going forward all the times. You're like, yeah, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Like Vasily. Vasily has the same problem. And those are those amateur guards. It's not a pro guard. Nah, where we protect our body more because there's a lot more rounds, man. You're going to take a lot more punishment for 36 minutes. You freaking got 9 minutes in an amateur fight. And after that 3rd round, that bell rings, your fight is over. You don't have time for a feel-out process. You don't, there's no need to devise a plan for longevity in the fight. It's forward. That's where a lot of them Cuban fighters can get punished. And they have. And American coaches know this. They've known this for years. Years upon years. But it doesn't mean that they're not good. You would have to get to it. I think that one of the fighters that got to it real good was Errol Spence Jr. He got, man, underneath that body, lowered his hands, and he messed up Ugaz's eye, man. Like, bow, bow, like bashing him. Look, uh, styles make fights, guys. Styles make fights, and sometimes you can't take that out of the fighter. You know, those little bad habits. They the fighter will divert right back to. It gets me frustrated, you know, but it's human behavior, you know. I gotta admit, I have to admit, Keyshawn has more pro style. He really does. He has a way better pro style, not a way better, like so much better than Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz has his style. I think that both fighters like to spread their feet, their legs wide. They're more of a rhythm fighters. They like to come off bounces. Keyshawn Davis, um, he's starting to show flares and signs that he's starting to do it on all levels. At first, you saw some of his inside game. Then you saw a little bit of his outside game. He had a little bit of trouble in one of his fights and early in his career. Keyshawn, you know, he's showing new wrinkles. And as a new fighter, I got to remember he's really young. We're starting to see him develop himself as a fighter. He's not like there yet. So I can't judge him like a Terrence Crawford or like a Saul, where they're set in their ways. We know what they can do, what they can't do. With Keyshawn, I'm learning with every fight. I'm seeing what his limitations are. What boxing situations can you put him in? And then I'll be like, okay, either he passed the test or didn't. You know, everything can be going good for you when you're winning. Let's see what happens when you end up in a fight. I'll tell you who you are, you know? Secret lost money betting on Morrell. That's why he's trying to justify his means right now, right? Nah. But look, or he could be a boxing fan, you know, that feels like uh Morale could have done a little bit better, you know, whatever you know it is. Tell me again why Benavidez works with what? Ah, I'm not gonna go down these crazy debates, man. Um, silent dancer move, right? Uh, that's opinion. That's opinion based. I'm not in the room. I'm not here to make accusations. I'm not here to point fingers. I'm here to discuss about what happened in the boxing ring and what took place. I can't go off what ifs or assumptions that'll lead you down the rabbit hole. Here at Round One Sports Talk, we talk about facts. The fact is that that man may have done business with him, whatever kind of business, neither you or me can say. We would be talking out the side of our necks. You're not in that room. You're not taking those supplements or those vitamins. And we have no idea if Victor Content actually came up with like the greatest vitamins on planet Earth. And these guys are working great. That's not for me to decide. Apparently, they're taking urine tests and passing it. Whether your view is that vintage content is just making a new form and they haven't caught up to that form yet, that's opinion. You neither know that to be fact, nor do I know that to be fact neither. Okay. So yeah, it sparks the curiosity. Yes, it does. And you may have an opinion or a viewpoint on this. Sure. But keep that to yourself. You know, you don't have any proof. Neither do I. But what I do have proof on is David the Monster Benavidez beating David Morrell. I have proof on that. Now there was a fight last night and it was broadcasted. It's a little box you could flick on. It's gonna show you the fight. I actually have proof. The world has proof. So I'm not just gonna sit here and just throw out accusations, but I respect everything that you said about David Morrell and thumbs up, bro. You bring interesting viewpoints on what possibilities were and how what other approach. And if we're talking about the boxing match, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Speculations and what ifs, you can leave that for the other channels. They seem to do a good job of talking shit and never reporting boxing. But if you want to report boxing, you want to come to a channel where we could have a conversation, well, my brother, you come to the right place. You know what I'm saying? Because here at Round One Sports Talk, we like to talk facts. You know what I'm saying? That's not opinion, it's facts. That he does business with a man. Yeah, the entire world knows that. It's a fact. It's a fact that Terrence Crawford does business with him. It's a fact that Devin Haney does business with Victor Content. But you doing business with Victor Content makes you a steroid cheater automatically? Is that what you're saying? No man has the right to change their stripes? Can't once a cheater, always a cheater? In your mind? Is that how it is? Well, then, if you live by that concept, just remember that every mistake you've ever done in your life, every second chance you ever wanted your girlfriend to give you or your parents or your boss, maybe they shouldn't have gave it to you. Maybe the world should turn their back on you because according to you, if you mess up once, you're a rotten apple. I believe everybody deserves a chance in life, a second chance, maybe even a third or a fourth one. I believe that if we don't give up on people sometimes, that's exactly what made some of these men and women the champions they are today. The fact that we don't give up on them. Vinta content, shady character. I agree. Do I have any proof on this? No. Do I have the right to put down David the Monster Benavidez, Terrence Crawford, or any of these fighters that are involved with Victor Content? I believe he's a man that needs to provide for his family and feed his family as well. I'm not making any excuses for these type of men. But honestly, for as much as I want to say that this dude has a lot of red flags, Victor Content, and I'm in agreement. Shit, when you look at him, he looks like a shit bag, doesn't he? And that's just my personal opinion. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, right? But at the end of the day, do I have real definitive proof? Nah, I don't. I don't have any proof until they catch some of those guys. And once again, what are we gonna be with Vinta Content on CNN with fucking Jose Canseco and Roger Clemens and the rest of the Olympic Committee that were all after him? It was ugly, wasn't it? Until we're there and they say something that I got nothing to say. I don't think that Victor Content's drugs um played a factor. I think that these guys had a boxing match and one man lost and one man won. Hats off to both fighters for giving us this fight. And that's all really I have to say about that. You know, you know, I believe that, you know, until you're proven guilty, I guess, huh? You know? Yeah, I know that. You're right. It is banned in every other sport except boxing. It is. Um, look, there is there is a lot of things that go behind in sports. I want you to understand something, my man. And it's called longevity. Every human being in the world does not age the same, and every person doesn't work out and build muscle the same or just as powerful. But I know I would had loved to see Tom Brady for another 20 years. Even though he did a 20-year career, shit, I would have wanted another 20 years. And if you would have told me there was a drug you could have gave him to give us another 20 years, I'd have been like, Brady, what are you waiting for? Take that shit. Right? In the world where humans are not designed, a pro career typically is 10 years. And within that 10 years, how many times do you get injured? Right? So on average, let's say you're 20 years old when you start your boxing career, 30 years old, you're starting to hit, that's only 10 years. You know, taking these medications and these vitamins, so-called vitamins, to get you to work out more, be stronger. There's been hundreds of fights scheduled, and we know it in the fighting. You can take steroids. I fought a guy on steroids in the street before. The steroids didn't help him. I whooped his ass because I outsmarted him. He was stronger. He tried to be faster. He just couldn't hit me. It didn't change his mindset and make him a superior fighter. He was still that kind of fighter. He still had that same mindset. He just might been able to last longer because the steroid inside of him gave him a lot of energy. But the way I looked at it was, you're just going to take a longer ass whooping. You might have all the energy in the world, well, then I'm going to whoop your ass for it. I'm going to give you a 5 to 10. I'm going to sentence you to a 5 to 10. When I give you a 5 to 10, you know what that means? I'm going to whoop your ass for 5 to 10 minutes. You decide how long you want to stick around. Because I'm going to give you a 5 to 10. Sometimes I give out 3 to 5s. Sometimes I give out 2 to 4s. You know what I'm saying? I whoop your ass for 2 to 4 minutes. You know what I mean? So it all depends on how much you act up. Then I have a little trial in my head and I cast out the sentence. You deserve a 5 to 10. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If you ask me, at the end of the day, should Victor Content be allowed to mess around with boxing? No. No. I don't have anything else to debate on what he's doing, his products, anything else. Just the fact that you got kicked out of major sports, the freaking Olympics. You actually went to federal prison. Why are they allowing you to come back to? Did we really think you were going to change? And I don't know. I think that everybody deserves a second chance. But why don't you go become sell life insurance or sell houses or become a mechanic? Do something other than the field you were banned for. I don't mind you. Shit, you could have came and designed boxing gloves, mouth guards, fucking jock straps. It could have been like Victor Content's jock straps. You know, that's catchy. You know what I mean? Right? But why with the medicine, with what you're putting into your body, that's basically what you got kicked out for and banned and imprisoned for. For God's sake, you're the inventor of the most effective PEs we have on our planet. You and your team actually invented them. The white serum. You ever see his documentary? You hear that? He's like a mad scientist, that Victor Content dude. That's my only take on it. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying I don't have any proof. I can't say that. I do not have proof. I cannot call him a cheater. I'm sorry, I can't. But if my opinion, if you're asking me, should he have been allowed to come into boxing and make snack? Hell no. Hell no. I don't know what gangsters or mobsters let that man in, but he's in. You know, I have Wada. I think they hired him as an outside consultant, And they were like, to catch a thief, hire a thief type shit. Where that there has been situations where like bank vote guys, right? They hire ex-cons. Why? Because every bank vote they made, he broke into. So if you know how to break into our votes, stop breaking into our votes. We're going to pay you a shitload of money to work with us. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Help us make a vote you can't crack. It's kind of like what they're doing with Victor Content. Hey, Victor, come here. We think we got a guy that's cheating. How would you know? He goes, the reason why we think so is because he's doing this, this, and this. Right? Okay. Victor Content comes in and goes, yeah, he didn't pop dirty for no drugs. But you notice this level right here up? You know what that means? It means he's taking this, this, and this to counter that. Really? Yes, this is what it'll look. That's what they're hiring Victor Content to do. And then by doing so, he was like, yo, can I make my own brand over here while I'm helping you guys? And they were like, yeah, we're busting all these guys. Yeah, do what you want. And meanwhile, another empire was forged. I have no idea. I don't call these things, but I definitely cannot call the man a cheater. I have no proof. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I just said, I'm public. You guys got me on record. Do I feel like they should have let a man like that into our sport? Hell the fuck no. I'm sorry, man. I believe that everybody deserves a second chance, Victor Content. And I believe you deserve one. Just take a second chance in a different field. Like I said, if you came back and was making mouth guards or boots or something, or Victor Content shorts, or then I wouldn't have a problem. The fact that you came back to the sport and you're dealing in substance that goes into the athlete's body, you were found guilty for that. That's all I'm saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here at Round One Sports Talk. Salute Jonathan in the building. Please, guys, don't forget to give these videos a like for me. You like the conversation, you like the atmosphere. You know what I mean? We could talk boxing all the time. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and like always, boxing family, you know I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports TV. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you, everyone that participate. Secret Dance Move, you're the man. Everybody, bam bam. Salute to the chat family for the support.